afternoon and welcome back to the Wildlands Garden on what is a seriously hot day. And in tonight's episode I'm going to show you how to propagate bananas from suckers. So if we have a look at these bananas here, and you can see they're in fairly poor condition. They've been overwintered in the nursery, I think, and not been watered and looked after, which has kind of done me a favour because it's meant that the stress has resulted in lots of suckers which have come out the side. This is the original main stem, and then you can see there's lots of tiny suckers as well. So in today's episode we're going to cut those up and pot them on. Some are ready for propagating right now, and the really tiny ones will keep attached to their bigger ones, and then when they get a bit bigger we'll cut them or propagate them once again. So propagating bananas is quite easy to do. They generally only send out suckers in the spring, and then after that they tend to grow a lot bigger, and they may put out the odd one or two through the season, but now is the time to get those suckers out and potted up to increase your banana stock. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the pot, and then this bucket is waste earth that I'll reuse in the compost, so I'm just going to knock off as much of the soil as I can without damaging too many of the roots. They're actually really sticky and they're all knotted together, and they're fairly brittle, the roots, so you've got to be a little bit careful. It doesn't matter if you break them a little bit because they will grow new ones, but we want to keep some of the roots on there. There isn't really, it's pretty pot bound, and the actual stems are quite brittle, so you want to be careful to not snap off the growing tips, but if you do, don't worry, because I'll just put out new leaves. So I think I'm just going to slice that. It's got a sharp gardening knife. I'm just going to go straight down and hope that we get some roots. And there we go. So that's where I've sliced through the main culmore rhizome. Got plenty of roots there, so that can be potted up. Just pop that there. And then the same with this second one. There we go, plenty of roots on that, lovely. And then that's the main stem with an enormous bulb, which will probably send out more babies, but we'll put that in a nice big pot with some fresh manure and earth mixed together. So let's get potting on. And this second one is really pot bound, and it's got lots of little baby shoots, so we've got to be careful. So that one came away with not too many roots. And I'm going to pot them on according to the size. So the bigger ones, like that one, I think he can go in this pot. Might need a bigger pot at a later date. And we've got a mixture here of compost out that we've made ourselves, rested chicken poo, and then that's mixed with normal garden centre type compost. This one here you can see, you probably can't see on camera, but it's got lots of new suckers coming off too. So once it's been in its new lovely compost for a little bit, it will put out more suckers, and as I said earlier, you can then split them off a second and a third time, as many times as you need, and then you can plant this one out in the garden next month. And they do look very sad, but don't worry, as long as they're often called banana trees, but they're actually from rhizomes. So as long as the rhizomes are healthy and they have a root or two or lots of roots, they will come back from the trunk. I tend to trim off any very damaged leaves and let it start fresh. And then these red stemmed bananas will bear fruit. It's a smaller than supermarket type banana, red fruit, very sweet, and they're not frost hardy, but they will tolerate a bit of cold. And this one is really big and really rooty, so I'm putting in an even bigger pot. That's good, you can see the bulb or the rhizome there, so it wants to be just below the surface. Bananas love rich soils, so I tend to always mix the soil with manure. So he should get really growing nicely now. So we got 7 bananas out of 2. However, multiple ones have more suckers coming, and in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks they'll be ready to propagate again, and then they'll have a month or so growing, and then they'll be ready for going in the garden or having out on your patio, or for us to sell in the Wildlands nursery.